Hey everyone, Todd here, internalarchitect.com, and today I wanted to answer a core question that talks about stem cells, and I feel like there's a little bit of a misconception about stem cells only for the fact that what I've been through with my autologous stem cell transplant and my allogeneic stem cell transplant to fight Hodgkin's lymphoma over the last 10 years has taught me a lot about how stem cells work and how they can potentially grow and even multiply in your body. So let me get into this real quick. So the question is how can I make my body produce more stem cells? There's two answers in here. There's actually three total answers, but there's two answers in here that say that you can't make your body produce stem cells. There's parts of their answers that I agree with and parts that I don't. I do believe you can, but you need help. You can't just normally do it because your body... How a stem cell works is when it does multiply, and all cells will multiply, they die, they do a number of different metabolic types of things, is when your stem cell duplicates, it becomes a daughter cell. And what happens is that daughter cell can become one of two things. It can become another stem cell, or it can become any cell that your body needs. And that includes if your body needs to produce a new heart muscle cell, it can do that. It can produce, from platelets, red blood cells, white blood cells. It can do intestinal lining cells. It has the ability to turn into any cell that you need. And that's quick gist of what happens with it. With what I've been through in my cancer journey, especially having two stem cell transplants. The first one we used my own stem cells, and that's why they call it an autologous stem cell transplant. We harvested my own stem cells, but the preparation before that, with a little bit of help through a drug called Neupogen. And Neupogen, what it does is it helps you essentially push the stem cells out of your bone marrow, and they're able to replicate and do what they need to do to go through the process of harvesting, which is called apheresis. And what happens is you go through this process for about 4 days, and it's a single shot, and it goes in and it helps mobilize your stem cells. For some reason, I don't know the science behind it, turns more of those daughter stem cells into more stem cells, and they can continue to produce. The first time I went through this, doing the autologous stem cell transplant, we were able to create essentially about 10 million new stem cells. And we were able to harvest those through that apheresis process. And that, at the time, I had what was a Hickman catheter that went right here in my chest up and into my jugular, just above my heart, and they were able to pull out the blood, and it goes through a centrifuge, and they're able to figure out exactly where those stem cells are at, and they can harvest them that way. The second time we did this, I went through an allogeneic stem cell transplant. This time it was through a donor, and it happened to be my brother. It was a sibling allogeneic stem cell transplant, and what happened with him is he also took about 4 days of the Neupogen shots, and those shots make you feel like your bones are growing. You become super sore. Your bones become super sore, and it's just not, it's not a very good feeling at all. And from there, your body produces more stem cells. And my brother, in the 4 days, produced about 10.2 million new stem cells, and it took them 2.5 hours to harvest them. The apheresis people were blown away by the amount that they were able to harvest and the time frame that they were able to harvest. Because in an allogeneic stem cell transplant, you have to have your stem cells live. They can't be cryogenically frozen. So they basically harvested my brother's stem cells in the morning. They went and did the numbers check and everything. And then by about 1 o'clock, we did the transplant. And this all happened from about My brother was there at 7. By 1 o'clock, my transplant happened. So it happened really, really fast. And so that just kind of goes to show that it is possible. And again, I don't know all the science and everything behind it, but it is possible to have your body create new stem cells. And that's one of the ways you do it. There's another answer in here about there's some stuff that you can take, some antioxidants, this reversatol. I don't know enough about that to really have an opinion about it, but I do know from my experience of what I've done has been able to produce new stem cells in my body. And at least with myself and my brother, we were able to produce an insane amount. The whole process is really fascinating. It's gnarly. It's a lot of work and it takes a lot out of you. But at this point, I'm 172 days since transplant, and I am very happy to be where I'm at, and I can't thank my brother enough. It's kind of one of those things that as science kind of continues on, it's really interesting to see how these new therapies and stuff really work. Obviously, there's always going to be controversy in how things are done and whatever, but I feel at this point it was all very ethical and very fascinating as well. That's kind of where I'm at with it. That's what I have learned, and that is why I do believe that your body can produce new stem cells, and a little bit of the process of how your stem cells can regenerate and produce new ones as well. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time and energy into watching the videos, and I hope this was informative for you. So again, thank you, and I will see you on the next video.